Hercule Poirot, the famous Belgian detective known for his astute powers of observation and meticulous attention to detail, had never once been caught off guard by a case. His little gray cells, as he liked to call them, were legendary, always, leading him to the truth no matter how complex the mystery. Yet, in this particular case, he found himself in a situation where not even his brilliance could pierce through the veil of deception. It was a case that left him not just outsmarted, but humiliated, at least for a moment. The story began with an invitation. Poirot, although rarely a guest at such affairs, was asked to attend an extravagant gala at a grand estate nestled in the English countryside. The host, Sir Reginald Farnsworth, was a wealthy and influential man known for his collection of priceless artifacts. What intrigued Poirot most, however, was the mysterious and alluring Lady Eleanor St. James, Sir Reginald's wife. The lady, known for her beauty and charm, had a reputation for being an expert in the arts of manipulation, and it was rumored that she had once been involved in a high-profile scandal that had left her name tarnished. Poirot had been invited to the event to provide security for a valuable diamond rumored to be among Sir Reginald's possessions. Though the diamond had yet to make an appearance, the host wanted to ensure its safety due to several recent robberies targeting the wealthiest families in the region. Poirot had agreed to attend, but his instincts told him there was more at play here than a simple case of theft. A dark undercurrent pulsed beneath the surface of the socializing crowd, one he couldn't quite place. Little did he know, he was about to walk right into a web of deceit unlike any he had encountered before. The evening unfolded as expected, with guests mingling and enjoying the lavish food and drink. Poirot kept his watchful eye on everyone, particularly Lady Eleanor, whose interactions with the guests seemed unnervingly calculated. At one point he noticed her speaking privately with a mysterious young man, someone Poirot didn't recognize, but whose demeanor immediately struck him as unusual, too nervous, too evasive. Poirot's suspicions were further aroused when Sir Reginald disappeared for a lengthy period of time, causing several guests to whisper amongst themselves. Lady Eleanor, aware of Poirot's presence, played the role of the perfect hostess, never giving any indication that anything was amiss. Yet Poirot's gut told him otherwise. As the night wore on, the long-awaited moment arrived. Sir Reginald, after much fanfare, revealed the diamond, an enormous, perfectly cut gem set in a necklace, placing it under a glass case at the center of the grand ballroom. The crowd gathered around, admiring its beauty. Poirot, however, remained distant, his mind racing through every detail of the evening. Then, just as the clock struck midnight, the lights flickered. In the chaos that followed, the diamond vanished. The case was still intact, but the diamond was gone. Panic ensued as guests screamed and scrambled, but Poirot, ever composed, surveyed the scene with precision. Poirot immediately launched into action, ordering the guests to remain where they were as he examined the area around the glass case. His mind worked at lightning speed, piecing together the events that had led to the disappearance. A thorough search of the room revealed no signs of forced entry, no hidden compartments, and no clues that could point to the thief. The only explanation was that the culprit had to be someone within the crowd. Lady Eleanor seemed unfazed, though her calmness only made Poirot more suspicious. She insisted that they search the staff and guests immediately. Poirot, however, was already ahead of her. He knew that if the diamond was indeed stolen by someone here, the thief would have taken great care to hide it, perhaps in plain sight. But no one seemed to fit the bill. Hours passed. Poirot interrogated every guest, every servant, and even Sir Reginald, but nothing made sense. There were no obvious clues, no slip-ups, nothing that would indicate the identity of the thief. Poirot's frustration grew. His mind, usually a well-oiled machine, was stalling, unable to make the connections that would solve the crime. He even began to doubt his own methods, something he had never done before. And then it happened. The moment Poirot's little gray cells finally began to unlock the truth. The mystery was staring him in the face, but he had been so caught up in the obvious details that he had overlooked the simplest answer. Lady Eleanor had stolen the diamond herself, but she had done so in a way so clever, so intricate, that it had fooled even Poirot. The key to the puzzle lay not in the diamond, but in the way it had been displayed. Lady Eleanor had convinced Sir Reginald to place the diamond under the glass case at a time when the lights were already dimming for a scheduled dramatic effect. While everyone's attention was focused on the lights, she had simply switched the diamond with a fake, one she had already prepared beforehand. Her accomplice, the young man Poirot had noticed earlier, had been positioned to create a diversion. Poirot had been so focused on the people and the theatrics of the event that he hadn't once considered the possibility that the theft had been carried out in plain sight. He had been fooled by the perfect execution of Lady Eleanor's plan, one that played on his own tendency to overthink. When Poirot finally confronted her, Lady Eleanor was calm, almost smug. She had manipulated not just the guests, but the great Hercule Poirot himself, and for a brief moment she reveled in the triumph of her cunning. Poirot, however, was not one to dwell on his mistakes. He accepted the defeat, knowing full well that even the greatest minds can occasionally be outwitted. But as he left the estate that night, he vowed to never again underestimate the lengths to which people would go to deceive, especially when the truth was buried beneath a mountain of false assumptions. In the end, Poirot's brilliance was not diminished, but the lesson he learned was clear. Even the most deceptive of criminals can fool the mind that believes it has seen it all.